Hello, Colin Hung here for Healthcare IT Today, and I am here in Las Vegas, Nevada for the annual health conference. While I was here, I really wanted to make sure I caught up with the folks at Ricoh. They're doing some pretty interesting things when it comes to 3D printing technology. In fact, they're using it to help surgeons perform better surgeries and give patients better outcomes. I was a bit surprised to see Ricoh jump into this space, which is why I wanted to catch up with them. Here's my interview with Gary Turner from Ricoh. Gary, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Colin. I appreciate you having me.
I'm excited to be here at the Ricoh booth, and you've got some pretty interesting things to talk about. But before we get there, for the benefit of our audience, can you just give us a quick little background of your role here at Ricoh?
Yeah, I'm managing director of what we call Ricoh 3D for Healthcare, which is our division focused on 3D printing for healthcare applications.
So Gary, you've got some pretty interesting things you're about to show us. Can you tell us what these are?
Sure, I'd be happy to. So what we have here are several examples of 3D printed tools for surgical instrumentation.
Okay.
In particular, tools focused on patient-specific applications of surgical interventions. So we'll start with this one here. This is a very interesting one. So when a surgeon is going to perform osteotomy on a patient, they have to cut, they have to drill, they have to put screws in and so forth. What we can create for them in our partnership with Inside Surgery are snap-on guides to help that surgeon know exactly where to drill, exactly where to cut, so that surgical intervention is specifically tailored to that patient. So that's what we have here at that example. This is another example. So this would be a need to remove a tumor. So some sort of a bony tumor. Again, what you have here is a guide that snaps onto the bone during surgery, so the surgeon doesn't have to guess. They make their cuts, they place their drill holes to fill that gap, and it's a much more precise surgery for that patient. This is a different example. So this is would be a breast cancer case, and what you see here in the green would be that tumor. So what using a tool like this would allow a surgeon to do is more precisely plan their surgery so that they can get the tumor but nothing else, which gives a much better reconstruction, makes it much better for reconstruction for the plastic surgeon afterwards. So another example.
So these guides, are they actually used during the surgery? Like they're actually placed on the bone?
On the bone, yep.
And then their tools and things would go through the openings that you have here?
Absolutely correct.
Amazing. And what are they printed on? How are they produced?
These are biocompatible polymers that are printed very simply and specifically through a process that's called DLP.
Okay.
And again, they don't stay on the patient. They go in for the surgery and then they're removed afterwards. So it's a very simple process. But what we do is we take the CT scan or the MRI scan, we digitally convert that into the patient's anatomy, and then the guide is designed specifically based on that three-dimensional image, and then it's printed out for the surgeon to practice and prepare as well.
So one of the obvious outcomes sounds like it's a bit safer for the patients, a bit more efficient for the surgeon. Are those kinds of the benefits to using these kinds of 3D?
Yeah, well, one of the biggest benefits is that it makes surgery a lot faster.
Okay.
Every minute you have a patient under anesthesiology can cause, worse outcomes, so to speak, or could have complications.
Sure.
So the faster that a surgeon can perform that surgery, obviously, the better experience of the patient, better outcomes, and of course a reduction in cost at the hospital as well. Reduced blood loss, potentially the ability to avoid a blood transfusion because you can perform the surgery a lot faster. And then in the case of a tumor oncology case, you want to make sure you get the entire tumor, but also at the same time don't remove too much of the bone. So in this particular case, we're able to make sure we get the entire tumor. So it's a more effective surgery. We do it quickly, but then we don't take so much that the patient's going to have a long recovery.
So what's Ricoh's role in this? Are you guys the ones producing all these things? Or producing the information from them?
Yeah, so in the case of the guides, we're collecting the patient information. We're working with Inside Surgery to do the design and then the output. In the case of a case like this where it's a anatomic planning model, we do the entire process from capturing the once the MRI is captured, we collect that, we convert it, we do the engineering, the design, and the output based on the exact specifications of the physician.
So this is really kind of like the epitome of personalized care, right?
Absolutely.
You're getting a 3D model of exactly what's there that's pertaining to me as the patient.
Right. You know, we believe that this is a part of the eventual movement towards medicine 3.0. If we're going to treat people as individuals, we need to treat them as individuals and come up with very specific paths to take care of them.
Well, Gary, you shared a lot of great information with us. Where can people go to learn more about Ricoh and about these tools?
Well, you can go to Ricoh's website, which is ricoh-usa.com, and search for 3D printing, and you'll find it right there.
Awesome, Gary. Well, thank you so much for being on the program today. Really appreciate the information you shared.
Absolutely. Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hey, I want to thank Gary for hopping on camera with me and giving me that overview of Ricoh's 3D printed products. I really found it fascinating, those guides that really help surgeons with where to make the incisions and where to put their instruments. I thought it was really cool, and I can see how that really can improve the outcomes for patients. And hey, if you enjoyed this interview, please mash that like button and subscribe. Also, head on over to healthcareittoday.com where you can find more great content like this. I'm Colin Hung here in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thanks for being here, and I'll catch you on the next video.